Boston College, it costs about $85,000 a year to go there USD. Really expensive. I know for the Canadian families, pretty much nobody can afford this. From there, if you have really good grades, they give you a $15,000 academic scholarship. So right there you go from $85,000 to $70,000. In this video, we're gonna break down how the whole system with NCAA D1 scholarships works and how you can maximize your chances of getting a full ride or close to full ride NCAA D1 scholarship. What's going on, guys? This is Braden from Advancement Hockey Advising here, and today we'll be talking about how the whole NCAA D1 scholarship process works and how much things generally cost for players and families. So some of the most common questions we get are, how do I play NCAA D1? Can you get my son to NCAA D1? How do scholarships work? Can I get a full ride? So on, so on, so on. A lot of questions about costs, scholarships, and all that stuff. And as always, when you guys have questions, we come up with videos that give you the answers. So in this video, we're gonna break down how the whole system with NCAA D1 scholarships works, the different types of scholarships, how coaches break up their scholarships, and all those little nuances there, and how you can maximize your chances of getting a full ride or close to full ride NCAA D1 scholarship. As always, before we dive into the details, what would an AHA video be without me asking you to absolutely destroy that like button? And if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. All right, let's talk everything NCAA D1 hockey scholarship right now. So when it comes to scholarships at the NCAA D1 level, there's three main types of scholarships, and there's a few others that we'll mention afterwards. So first, there's the athletic scholarship that coaches actually dish out. Second, there's the academic scholarship. And third, there's the financial aid scholarship. Let's start with the athletic one here. So when it comes to athletic scholarships, it basically refers to the amount of money that coaches are able to dish out that's beyond academic and financial aid scholarships. Most programs, they had 18 full rides that they're able to dish out to their whole roster. And most rosters are actually composed of about 25 to 26 players, maybe more, maybe less, but typically that's how it goes for the NCAA D1 level. So amongst all those guys, they can only dish out 18 full ride scholarships. So that means they have to be pretty choosy as to how they dish out their money. And beyond that, actually, teams in the Atlantic division at the D1 level only have 14 full ride scholarships equivalents that they can dish out to their players amongst their whole roster. So they have less money to play with. And then also beyond that, at the Ivy League level with Union and with RIT, and there could be another program or two in there, but typically that's the general rule. For these guys, they can only dish out financial aid money. Now, their financial aid packages are really good, and typically the hard part with these schools is to actually get in through admissions, right? Because they're very competitive schools overall academically. But if you can do that, their financial aid packages, if you're not from a super wealthy family, they're usually pretty competitive and on par with most other NCAA D1 programs. Couple notes I want to mention to you guys. When it comes to having an athletic scholarship offer, you have to sign a national letter of intent with that particular school. So if you accept an athletic scholarship, you're officially committing to going to that school for a particular year. You can decommit. It's a whole process. You probably don't want to go through it. You probably want to make sure whenever you decide to go to a school that you commit to that particular school, but you can decommit out of it. It's more official than we go to like the D3 level, for example, where it's more of a verbal commit. Also note too, athletic scholarships and these letter of intents only apply at the D1 level. You cannot get an athletic scholarship at the NCAA D3 level. So that's pretty much it for athletic scholarships. When it comes to academic scholarships now, there's actually two things that factor in: your grades and your test scores. For a lot of schools now, it's just your grades. Usually they might look at your test scores, but it doesn't really matter too much. But when it comes to the more academically competitive schools, like the Ivy League schools, like the NESCAC schools at the D3 level, even though we're talking about D1, I just want to mention that. But when it comes to like Ivy League schools and other really competitive schools at the D1 level, they might still want to see your test scores, so the SAT or the ACT. So if you're applying to very competitive academic schools, probably a good idea to at least take this test course for now, since they're still considering them. Overall, if you don't really plan on applying to these schools, I'd say you don't really have to, but it's probably a good idea to take them still today if you think you're an NCAA D1 player. And when it comes to the amount of money received, it's pretty simple, right? The higher your grades, the higher your test scores, the more money you're going to receive in terms of academic aid. So do yourself a favor and get the highest grades possible. Now, the third main type of scholarship or aid that you can get is financial aid, or need-based is what they call it. So basically what they do is they look at your family's income, net worth, all those factors all together, and through a complex formula that I have no idea, I do not understand, they arrive at a number, they give you a certain amount of aid. So the more wealthy you are, basically quote unquote, the less money you're going to get, and the more you're struggling financially or on paper, let's say, the more financial aid money you're going to get. Now we're going to talk about tips as to how to maximize this moving forward, but the trick is basically like the less wealthy you are, the more money you get at the end of the line. Now, number 4, moving on to the other types, there's actually other types of scholarships that you can get, and I don't want to touch on this now. I'll talk about it more towards the end of the video. So stick around for this. There's a lot of cool tips that you guys can know to actually save money here moving forward. All right, so based on these 3 main types of scholarships and the other ones that we mentioned here are some tips to save the most amount of money and get the best scholarship package that you can here if you end up playing NCAA D1 hockey, okay? Number 1, invest in your development on and off the ice. Really important, the better you are as a hockey player, the better in shape you are, the better you take care of things, the better you are on the ice, and the more attractive you're going to be to coaches altogether. If you're a really hot commodity and 10 different universities want you, chances are a coach at a certain university or multiple coaches will offer you a full ride to try and sweeten the deal, okay? So the better you are as a player, the better options you're going to have and the more money you're going to be able to save moving forward. Most players aren't in this situation, but even then, if you just have a few schools kind of fighting for you, you can at least get some sort of a deal that's close to a full ride athletic scholarship, if not a full ride. Number 2, get the best grades that you can. Here's where grades, and you'll see financial aid after, but here's where grades and other types of scholarships come in. Most players don't get quote unquote athletic full ride scholarships anymore. It's very, very rare to see this. Usually what coaches do now is they combine their athletic money with academic money, with financial aid money, and they combine all of this together to get a full, like a pseudo full ride or close to a full ride for the player. So if the player has really good grades, 1, it's attractive to a coach because they know they're not going to be a problem in the classroom. They're not going to be academically ineligible. They know they're going to be responsible. So it tells a lot, in terms of the player's character and stuff, but it shows the coach like, hey, he has good grades, so it's not, a risk factor, and we can get some better money for him. We have to spend less athletic money on him. So this way we can maybe find an elite player that doesn't have such good grades. We can offer more money here. This is how coaches kind of rationalize things. So for you, just do yourself a favor. Don't be the player with bad grades. Have really good grades. Make it easy for the coaches. Get as much money as possible academically, and then the coaches can use that academic money and combine it with the athletic money and give you a really good package. Number 3, to add on here, financial aid. Really take advantage of it, especially if your family doesn't have that much money. Apply to financial aid. If you think you can play NCAA D1, the coach wants you but doesn't really want you that much, but he wants you on the team but doesn't want to really give any athletic money or very little. You can, if you maximize your grades, you'll be good there. You'll have nice money there. And if you're struggling a bit, you'll get a lot of financial aid money. So that's huge. If you have a single parent, definitely declare as a single parent. If you lost your job, definitely make that clear to the financial aid department. If you're wealthy but you have a business, you can, and we talk about this in AHA Plus a bit more, and it gets not sketchy, but it's very, very advanced, and we talk about this in depth in AHA Plus. If you want to sign up, there's a link down in the description. But essentially, on paper, if you have a business, you want to make yourself look the poorest possible, okay? If you find a way for that specific year before you're applying, so the year before is what they look at for income, if you find a way to make yourself look not that wealthy that year, you might get more financial aid money, okay? There's strategies to do this. There's ways to go around this. We won't share too much on that, but that's just another way. So take advantage of the financial aid system to get as much financial aid money as possible. When you do that, when you combine it with the academics, if you're looking at NCAA D3, for example, you do that, you can actually get a really good package, which is what I did to get to the NCAA D3 level. And then from there, if you have the NCAA D1 level, you can stack the athletic scholarship on there, and basically it gives you a really, really nice package altogether. Number 4, lastly, there's other different types of scholarships and discounts you can look into. So first and foremost, if you can get in-state tuition, that's huge. So a lot of schools offer in-state tuition if they're state schools, so something to look into and to consider moving forward. Let's say you're deciding between, Arizona State, and then you're deciding between Harvard, but you're getting actually a very, very good deal at Arizona, and Harvard's like 60 grand a year. Probably wouldn't come to that, but let's say it's at that point, quote unquote, take the NCAA D1 team that's giving you the best deal because of in-state. Let's say, crazy example, but let's say that's it. There's other things. You can write essays that can give you grants and bursaries. There's so many programs you can apply to, like minority programs, all that. So do your research. It's actually a great way, not only at the NCAA D1 level, but at the D3 level, to get little, pieces and chunks and bursaries that can help. And if you get a lot of them, it really stacks up and can help you in the long term. Okay, so lastly, I want to finish with a concrete example with some concrete numbers so you guys can see like what it all entails and how it kind of works out when you're looking at the numbers. So I'm going to give an example here. The numbers won't be perfect, but it's just hypothetical. So I looked it up on Google. Boston College, it costs about $85,000 a year to go there USD. Really expensive. I know for the Canadian families, pretty much nobody can afford this, okay? Unless you're, you know, some sort of billionaire or millionaire, whatever, you know, most people can't afford these numbers. But here's how it kind of works. So that's the starting ticket price with tuition, room, board, and other expenses. That's usually what you're looking at per year. From there, if you have really good grades, let's say a 3.8 GPA, you have a 1300 SAT score, they give you a 15,000 academic scholarship. So right there you go from 85 to 70,000. If you go moving forward, let's say your family, you know, has been struggling a bit financially, or you have a single mother, something like that, or for whatever reason you're just not like super wealthy, you're just a household income of like, let's say $120,000 a year, they decide to go ahead and give you 25,000 off. So you're going from 70,000 now to 25,000 off. You're down to, you know, quick math, 45,000. Okay, so right there, it's still not very affordable, but it's better. From there, the coach comes in and says, hey,
I like your game. I don't think you're good enough for a full ride scholarship, but I want to offer you a place on the team. I want to give you a half scholarship.
Let's say the half scholarship is 35,000 a year. Well, you're looking basically 45 minus 35, you're down to 10,000 USD a year, tuition, room, board, other expenses included. That's a really good deal. That's actually, it rivals, if not is better than deals you get in Canada or at other universities. Could be close, it could be maybe a bit more, but it's a good deal that's affordable to most families. And this is kind of how it works, okay? By stacking these different types of scholarships, you can get down from like, you can start with a ticket price of 85,000 and get all the way to free or close to free, like 10,000 a year or something like that. Now I know this was a big video with a lot of information, so here are the main 3 points that I want you to take from this video here. First, there's 3 types of scholarship. The 3 main types, there's athletic, there's academic, and there's financial need-based when it comes to the NCAA D1 level. Second, most D1 programs allow coaches to break up 18 full ride scholarships amongst their roster, and they strategically do this with academic, financial aid, and other types of scholarships to break out as nicely as possible throughout their whole roster. Third, to get the best scholarship possible, invest in your development, become the best player you can be, become the best student you can be, and on paper, try and make yourself the least wealthy possible if it's possible for you to do that. All right, guys, that is a wrap for the video. I know there was a ton of information in there, but it took a long time for us to research this video, to put it together. Hopefully you guys got some value out of it, and that is going to help you guys moving forward, and you have a better idea as to how the whole NCAA D1 scholarship process works, how much it costs, and if it's going to be worth it for you guys. So if you like this video, if you haven't already, absolutely destroy that like button. It's free and it goes a long way for the YouTube algorithm and for other players and parents to see this video. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video that we make moving forward. If you have any questions for me about NCAA D1 hockey, scholarships, costs, or anything hockey related, definitely drop a comment down below or send us a private email at info@ahadvising.com and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. That's it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on that next one.